We set none above you. Now point at somebody boldly. Maybe don't do it with one finger because they might get a flashback. Stretch forth your hand at them and say, what you looking at? And don't be afraid. Now tell somebody the next side, what you looking at? Christianity has been suffering a blow in its credibility because no one thinks God is watching. I want to talk to you, but I was going to use the word briefly, but if I say briefly, it's going to go long. I want to talk to you extendedly about integrity when no one else is watching. Many people try to please their pastor, they try to please their sisters or their brothers in church, but not many people are trying to please God. I didn't do good in school because I didn't know that learning and passing was supposed to be synonymous. I went to school just to pass. I did not go to school to learn. And I passed, and I went to college, and I was like, what am I doing here? And they showed me the door. It's a true story. And so today I want to look at a couple of characters in the Bible who God was looking at. Many of you are not aware that God is watching you. And what you show God determines on what God is able to do for you. It was a bad commercial. It said, where's the beef? You remember that little old lady? But Proverbs 15:3, don't go there. Proverbs 15:3 says this, the eyes of the Lord are in every place, beholding the evil and the good. But I do want you to go to Psalm 73. We're going to start at verse number 1. I'm going to preach a little bit, teach a little bit. And in Psalm 73, you have a story where an individual's foot almost slipped. You would think, okay, how can someone's feet slip? Hold on, catch this, please. Gracias, Senor. Can you get us to Liz? If you don't catch it, it's gonna break. I know who I'm throwing it to. Those Evangelist Tisha's children, they could catch. In this particular psalm, you have a story where this individual is looking at people in the world, sinners, prospering. Says when we say they're looking at sinners prosper. And he says, my foot almost slipped. What we are looking at creates images on the inside which will spurn flesh. Or let's say spawn. What we see gives birth to the flesh. A young man sees an ugly girl, he does not try to talk to her, does not try to spawn with her. Am I right? What we see tries to give birth in our flesh to things. So this individual begins to talk and he begins to say, I saw how the wicked was prospering and my foot almost slipped. We don't have time to go all the way through it. And he began to tell you how his foot almost slipped. He began to compare his lack with their great gain. And he began to say, this ain't right. When believers compare themselves with unbelievers in any fashion and say that the unbeliever has more than them, you're not right. You have slipped. And let's read a little bit of it. Verse 1, truly God is good to Israel, even to such as of a clean heart. But as for me, my feet were almost gone. My steps had well nigh slipped. For I was envious at the foolish when I saw the prosperity of the wicked. Because he began to talk about, you've seen sinners out there. They drive better cars, got better homes, got more clothes, eat real food. And they don't think about repenting. They don't think about going to church. They don't think about living right. And nothing seems to happen to them. They don't live in neighborhoods where people get shot. So he began to complain, what is this? He said, my feet almost slipped from under me. And then it says, until I went into the sanctuary of God, then I understood their end. Surely thou hast set them in slippery places. Only until he went to the house of God, he remembered they're in a slippery place, that they're going to end up in hell. But as long as they were in the world, looking at the people in the world, they could not see their end, and their feet almost slipped. One thing the church has been failing to realize is that God has been watching over what you've been watching over. I was thinking about this when I was shaving. A good jealous wife really would put the lockdown on her husband. And a good jealous husband will put the lockdown on his wife. The good jealous one. Not the one that don't care about you, but the good jealous one. Why would you say that, Preacher Joe? Because God is a jealous God, and God puts the lockdown on you. Now, where's my wife at? Can you come up for like 13 seconds of an analogy? I need another volunteer. Maybe not. All right. Maybe I'll use this as an volunteer. Jennifer, you come on up. You be my volunteer. Welcome. Welcome to, no, I know you want to grab me. I know that. Welcome to our program. This is a girl. Hold this. No, not you, Jennifer. You hold this girl with your left hand. Hold that girl. Now, this is my wife. Put your eye on me. Put it right here. Put your eye on me. All right. Now, I got my eye on you. And I take my eye off you, and I put my eye on that girl. What you gonna do?
You know what's gonna happen.
What?
You know what's gonna happen.
Well, punch me in my stomach. Punch me in my stomach.
Really?
Not hard.
No.
She took her rings off. And I put my eyes back on her. Mm-hmm. A good jealous wife will get her husband's eyes back where they belong. See, the eyes of the Lord are upon the righteous. God's eyes are on you, and if he got to punch you in your stomach to get your eyes back on him, so he will. Amen. And so, now I want you to go here, because, I want to deal with some verses in the Bible that we've taken out of context, but let's put them in context so that God can help us. Go to Habakkuk chapter 1. And I'm just going to tell you the story because I want to go somewhere else today. Habakkuk has the same issue. He starts telling God, how long you going to show me these bad people and you not do anything about it? And I'm going to get some of you in trouble. How many of you ever felt led or believed that God has called you to the prophetic? Let me tell you what it means to be called to the prophetic. You can't stand the pathetic. When God calls you to the prophetic, you dot your I's so that you can poke people in their eyes. A prophet lives above reproach. And all these people got a word for somebody and they ain't even living right. What you are? You're a non-profit organization. How can God tell you that somebody's wrong and you see it, and you wrong? Jesus said, how can you tell somebody they got a bean in a splinter in their eye and you got a beam in yours. So these people with these prophetic calls, check their drawers. The Lord said, yes. Oh, yes. The Lord said. I can tell you what he's saying also. And seeing what happens is Habakkuk is a prophet. And he has an issue with God. He says, God, you show me these things, but why are you not doing anything about it? You show me that people are bad. I'm doing my part, but you're not doing your part. And then we get to the verse that says, write the vision. Make it plain, so they that read it may run. You see, God is going to deal with each and every one of us. Do you want him to deal with you? That's the question. Or do you want to be like the rest of the people ending up in fake prayer? Come, you can sit over here, Eto. Mira, cinco seis. My Spanish is getting good. I know esto and I know cinco seis. That's my favorite word, 25. Cinco seis. Alto cinco. That's high five. I made that up. It's not even in the Latino dictionary. I made it up. And so you see, Habakkuk is a prophet. And when you are a prophet, which you are, because Jesus said, what you say out of your mouth will justify you or condemn you. So you are a verifiable prophet. That's why many of you don't have. And that's why many of you do have. For Jesus also said you shall have what you say. So if you believe God called you to the prophetic, don't mean go get a robe and a collar and eat locusts and honey. It just means you're going to have to live holy above everybody else. Verse 1. So you see, let me just repeat this because I'm out of time. Habakkuk sees what's going on. He said, God, why are you showing me this if you're not going to do anything about it? You ever get to that place where you see these nasty sinners getting over, criminals, police on the take, politicians just trying to lie to get a job, and God knows, and you wonder, can I do anything? Yes, you can. Sounds like the president. It's true. You live holy, you live upright, and when it's your time to speak to God, you tell him about them. But if you're not going to live right and live holy, don't say nothing because he's coming to get you. My father was human in the natural. Hope so. And if I squealed on one of my brothers, he would beat me, and I finally realized why. Because he knew I was wrong too. The only time I wouldn't get beat for squealing is when I didn't have anything wrong. Then he would listen to me because he knew I was doing it out of concern and not trying to get them in trouble. How many times you get tempted to preach to somebody from a negative standpoint and you think you're a person of God, exposing their sin, and your drawers is, you didn't got drawers on. And so you see, what we have to do is we got to get to a place where we realize that the Lord is watching us. Not you, not your mother, not your father. If you're not aware that the Lord is watching you, then you will not respond correctly. So here's Habakkuk. The burden which Habakkuk the prophet did see, the who? The prophet. See, if you've been saved more than 6 weeks, you should be seeing some things. If all you're looking for to God to bless you, you might not even be saved. I wonder how many of our teens are saved. How many of them really, really ask God to forgive them when they sin? It's hard for teenagers to live a saved life. So you got to help them. What does it mean to be saved? God's going to judge and he has nothing on me. That's what it means to be saved. How about our parents? How about our old people? Well, I've been to church when I was 16. The good man upstairs will take care of me. Well, if you live in a project, yes. Your landlord will take care of you. But God ain't been no good man upstairs. Grandma, mommy, they all have to realize whether or not they're saved. Can they say they did that knowing God was watching them? I'm not a political analyst, but I've been watching the mockery on how these politicians are trying to become president. And I'm thinking, you know, to them it's a game. But people's lives are on the line. And you know, and I don't follow, like I say, I don't follow politicians enough to be an authority on it, but I do remember one thing that our president Barack Obama did that got the evangelical Christians in a tizzy. He said the United States is not a Christian nation. It's a nation with Christians, Muslims, and Jews. The evangelicals went bananas. I'm like, what's the problem? You haven't been a Christian nation in years. And now one man is bold enough to tell you your drawers are dirty, and now you're angry with him. If nobody tells you, you're never going to clean your drawers. Give me a break. The United States is far from being a Christian nation. What, you want credit for something that you're not? That's like going to somebody's house and they say they saved, and you hear fornication going on in the room. What? Some rap music. Yeah, we saved. We saved our rent money. I'm making sense. Them teens ain't right. They ain't right one thing. Y'all gonna be tested on this. You better start writing. Anybody hear what I'm saying? You can't call something that's not that. And they got upset with him. I think that's why they want him out of the presidency. Why? So you can stay lying? Give me a break. How about you? You know any so-called believers that say they saved, but you know their lifestyle ain't saved? Nobody here. Just 3 people here. Nobody else is here? Good. At least Amber answered me. And she 15. So we're at that place where the only way you and I are going to have it documented in the annals of heaven that you are saved, that you're living for God and God can talk to you and through you, is if you know that God's watching you. I'm not bragging, but I believe God's watching me. The eyes of the Lord are always upon me. And I act like I believe that. How about you? Only 3 of you? The burden which Habakkuk the prophet did see, O Lord, how long shall I cry, and thou wilt not hear? Even cry out unto thee of violence, and thou wilt not save. Why dost thou show me iniquity, and cause me to behold grievance? For spoiling and violence are before me, and there are that raise up strife and contention. Therefore the law is slack, and judgment does never go forth. For the wicked does compass about the righteous. Therefore wrong judgment proceedeth. Art thou not from everlasting, O Lord my God, mine Holy One? We shall not die. I'm missing some verses here. Well, praise God. Never cut and paste without checking. Well, moving right along. Well, Habakkuk chapter 1 through 4. Bottom line is, he was complaining that God, you're showing me all this wickedness and you're not doing anything about it. Then Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 1, I believe I have this right. He said, I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower and will watch to see what he will say unto me and what I shall answer when I am reproved. And the Lord answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables that he may run that read of it. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come to pass. It will not tarry. Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith. I just pointed to a little baby named Faith. That's why you're trying to wonder why I did that. It says, whoever's soul is lifted up is not right. The just shall live by his faith. The just shall live by his walk with God. Those that have been justified. Anybody here, don't lift your hand because I don't want anybody to think that you're not perfect like you want them to think. You ever been to court? In order to leave court through the front door, right? Not that side door, you have to be justified. Someone has to say justice has been served. As far as they're concerned, even if you go through the back door, justice will be satisfied for their sake. The just of them that have escaped the judgment of God, nobody hear me, and they're going to live by that faith. The just shall live by faith. So Habakkuk said, I'm going to stand on my watch. I'm going to tell God what I see, how I don't like what's going on. And he's not doing anything about it. Anybody been there? Some of you don't care. You're just trying to get yours. Some of you just acting like a squirrel trying to get a nut. Right? Let me just get mine. You do yours, I do mine. What kind of Christian